lots of thoughts trying to come out at the same time. But,
Hey guys, the Tories are trying to out Farage Farage. Yes, out Farage Farage could be a new noun. Watch till the end of the clip where we shall discuss it even further.
This government, you said you'd stop the boats, you didn't. This government said they'd smash the gangs. They didn't. What do you make of the figures where we are now? We've had nearly 6,000 people make that crossing this year alone.
Yeah, well, the last government in 2023 did start to get the numbers crossing the channel down, but what's happened since the election is the numbers have gone into reverse. They've started going back up. They're up by 31% since the general election. Nearly 30,000 people have illegally crossed the English Channel, and as you say, this year alone, just in the last few weeks, 6,000 people have illegally crossed the channel. That is the worst start to any year in history. It's the worst year ever. So the Labour government's claims to be smashing the gangs are in complete tatters.
They would say that they are processing people more quickly, that they're returning people out of the country. Do you give them any credit for that at all?
Not really. Most of their returns are voluntary to Eastern European countries. Only a tiny, tiny fraction of the number of people they are returning actually arrived here by small boat. And in fact, that number has gone down since the election, not up. And the number of people they're returning who arrived on small boats, it amounts to about 4% of crossings. They're letting 96% of these illegal immigrants crossing the channel stay here in this country. And let's be clear, they are illegal immigrants. They're entering the UK illegally, and they're not fleeing war because there is no war in France. France is a perfectly safe country. France has a well-functioning asylum system. Nobody needs to get into a rubber dinghy and go from France to the UK, flee a war. If people want to seek protection, they're perfectly able to claim asylum in France, or indeed in Belgium or Germany or any of the other countries they may have passed through previously. There is no excuse for getting into a dinghy and crossing the channel, and that's why the Rwanda deterrent that the last government was ready to start was so important. That would have seen everybody crossing the channel by dinghy get sent to Rwanda.
Hey guys, if you thought the Tories would finally stop banging on about immigration, think again. It seems they've been absolutely determined to out Farage Farage, parroting the same old lines Reform UK has been peddling for years. Chris Philp on GB News regurgitated the useless bollocks that he always regurgitates about the Rwanda scheme, of course, the flagship Tory failure. He went after Labour for failing to stop channel crossings and claimed the Rwanda plan was the magic solution. The irony, his own party never even made it work when they were in power. Philp claimed 6,000 people have crossed the channel so far this year, but the worst start on record, and he slammed Labour for not returning enough asylum seekers. But let's just pause for a second. First off, claiming asylum, even if you arrive by a small boat, is not illegal. We know this. That is a legal right under international law, and Philp knows this. GB News knows this. The reporter nodding along like a fucking nodding dog knows this. But no one corrects it because the goal is clear. Reinforce a hostile narrative. People are arriving by small boats because there are no safe routes. Not anymore. The few that did exist for Ukrainians and Hong Kongers, what a cool name, Hong Kongers, have closed. If you're fleeing from Syria, Afghanistan or parts of Africa, there is simply no safe legal route into the UK. So of course, they're coming through France. That doesn't mean they're French citizens, it means that they pass through France, where they have no obligation to stay. Many have family, friends or speak the language here, and it's their right under international law. But the Tories continue with the fiction that asylum seekers are illegal migrants who must be punished. And now Philp is trying to revive the bullshit Rwanda scheme. Yes, the plan, the one where the Supreme Court ruled it unlawful because Rwanda, the one who had the genocide, isn't a safe country. The one that it was never going to work in practice because Rwanda itself capped how many people it could take, just a few hundred, not the tens of thousands that Philp pretends it could have handled. Not only that, but even the infrastructure in Rwanda has since been dismantled. Properties earmarked for asylum seekers have been rented out. The deterrent effect the Tories keep talking about, it never existed. You can't deter people from fleeing danger by bluffing a policy that never got off the ground. Let's be real. This was never about real solutions. It was about headlines. It was about stoking division. And with Labour scrapping the Rwanda flights before a single deportation ever happened, the Tories are scrambling. They're leaning into the Farage-style culture wars because they've run out of actual ideas and Badenoch is nowhere to be seen. But here's the truth. Anyone who really cares about immigration controlled, however misinformed, isn't going to vote Conservative now, not when Reform UK is offering the full fat version of the same anti-immigration policies. And why would they? The Tories never stopped the boats. They didn't even try and stop the boats. They didn't deport people to Rwanda. The one who did go was paid money to go. And they didn't even reduce immigration. So what are they offering now except reheated talking points and a record of failure? So it's over. Conservatives, darlings, it's over. If the Conservatives want to have any kind of future, they need to stop obsessing over immigration and start offering real workable policies, because rehashing Rwanda isn't going to cut it anymore and is actually just a bunch of shit. But let me know what you think in the comments. I've been Jake from Just Jake. As always, subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow the Facebook page, and feel free to support the channel in any way you like. See you next time. You actually made it to the end of the video. If you would like to subscribe to the channel, which, why haven't you already, is somewhere over there. And also, if you want to watch more videos, also check out over there. I've been Jake from Just Jake. See you later.